Hi guys, welcome back. What a day, shall I say, already. My supervisor from the prison I used to work at in California, that was his favorite slogan. He used to say that thing like 9 o'clock in the morning. It was like, what a day. I get it now, yo. Exhale, woosah. Woo-sa, because I just got back from the post office picking up the printed copy of my dissertation, which I'm going to open here in this video. I was so excited to get this, right? But it kind of dawns on me, like, the journey in getting this dissertation, number one, completed, right? This was like a 2-3 year long journey. And then I felt like that journey compares, it's like similar to what I just went through to get this freaking package, yo. If you guys just know the stress the United States Postal Service just put me through just to get this freaking package, yo. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Now, it was scheduled to arrive in my mailbox yesterday. I get the notification indicating that it was rerouted to a different post office location. Presumably because it was a wrong address on the package. I'm like, or the wrong zip code. So it got rerouted to a different post office in 137 zip code. I'm like, yo. So I contacted the publishing company to ask them, what is the mailing address you guys have for me? And they confirmed the correct mailing address. I'm like, okay. So they did their part on their end. I know I gave them the correct address. I always double check because I'm pretty anal with stuff, right? So I'm like, how could the fucking post office get that shit mixed up, yo? But, yo, that freaking post office has to be the most disorganized. So I'm like, all right. I met with the lady, the clerk yesterday, and I, showed her my tracking number, show her the message indicating that, listen, what is going on? I got a notification saying that this package was rerouted to a different location. What is going on? And granted, they're remodeling this whole freaking post office, right? It's right across from Penn Station, so it's going through a whole revitalization. And it's like a probably $1 billion project, who knows, right? Because they also did an expansion with the train station there too. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe they meant that the mailboxes were moved, because that was something I also discovered when I go there. They move all the mailboxes from one side of the freaking post office all the way to the other side. I'm like, okay, but we got brand new post office. We got brand new mailboxes, but it's the exact same one though. Because I use this for personal, but mainly I got it for business, right? So I'm like, okay, it's not there. And the lady says, just come back. They are in the process of rerouting it back to this location. And it should arrive tomorrow. And I have been checking my tracking to see where it is. And then it finally arrived this morning. 9:23, it says that, actually it got there like 5 o'clock this morning, right, when it initially arrived. But at 9:23 was when it said that it was available for pickup. So I'm just like, hey, I'm really excited. Not only to open this, right, because of course I've already had my hands on my dissertation. I've already defended my dissertation. Like, that's done, right? My dissertation is already cleared with my library at my school. I think I really was just excited just to get a hold of this, mainly because I wanted to get a hold of it before I went on vacation, because I'm going on vacation in a couple days. I'm like, I want to get this done, right? So I go there today, you guys. I go there today to pick it up because the notification says that it's available for pickup at 9:23. Now, mind you, I should have known, this freaking post office location, they're terrible. Like, you'll receive a notification indicating that your package is ready, but it's not really ready, right? Ready meaning that there's a slip in your mailbox and it's available for pickup. Like, they're ready, right? They're not ready. I go there, I go check my mailbox, there's no yellow slip. I'm like, all right, I'll just show them my tracking number on my phone. And I'll show them the message. So I go there and I'm showing the lady this, and she's like, oh, I can't do anything with your phone. Lady, I'm not asking you to do anything with my phone. Like, they've done this before. They've read the tracking number. Taken down the tracking number, which that's what she did yesterday, actually. Took down the tracking number to find out where this package is and put it in their system. So today the lady is like, I can't do anything with it. You got to go to the kiosk. Mind you now, this is after I'm standing in line for like freaking a half hour already, right? Waiting, standing in line, waiting patiently because they only have freaking 3 clerks, 3 windows open. And so I get to the front of the line, then they open up more windows. I'm like, yeah, my patience is like already kind of like this thin, right? But woosah. So I go up there, right? I'm the next person in line. I go up there and I'm showing her my tracking information. And she's like, oh, I can't do anything with your phone. I'm just like, well, I don't have the slip. She's like, you don't have the yellow slip? You didn't get the yellow slip in your box? I'm like, no, I did not get the yellow slip. If I had the yellow slip, I would give you the yellow slip. So she's like, you gotta go to the kiosk. So I went to the kiosk. She's like, go to the kiosk, put in the tracking number, and then it's gonna print you out a receipt and bring it back to me. I'm like, that's redundant. I just stood in this whole long ass line. Why would I have to go? Why can't you just take it down from my phone? Like, why inconvenience me, right? She's totally inconveniencing me, asking me to go to a kiosk to print out a freaking receipt that's going to show the exact same thing that my freaking phone has, right? So I go back, I stand in the front of the line, wait for them to call the next number. Because I'm not going to get back in the freaking back of the line. And I already asked lady, can I just like come back to the front? She's just like, yeah. So I go to the front of the line, go to a different window, and I'm giving her the receipt, the printout with my tracking number on it, let her know, like the lady down there, she just said that I can just go to the kiosk, print it out, and give it to you guys because I do not have the yellow slip in my mailbox, right? Indicating that my package is here, but I can show proof that it's here. Give me my shit. I didn't say that, but yo, I'm already kind of losing patience, right? So like, I give her the receipt and she's looking at the receipt crazy, like she don't know what the receipt is. And I'm just like, it just came from the kiosk. Like, I just tracked my package and I'm giving it to you to show that it's here. That's what she just told me to do because I don't have the yellow slip. You guys, they were behind with putting the yellow slip in my freaking mailbox. So she's like, oh, well, you need the yellow slip. The yellow slip should be in your mailbox. If the package is here, you should have a yellow slip. I'm like, yo, it was not in my mailbox. It may be in there now, but why would I go all the way around there to go get open my mailbox, get the yellow slip when you can just freaking take, like, yo, I have the number here. Like, sometimes it makes you wonder, like, yo, I know they have to go through a certain kind of test to qualify for the job, but it just makes you wonder. There's got to be some pieces missing up there, right? And so I'm just like, okay, my patience. Like, Danielle, breathe, woosah. I have the number right here. Just take the freaking receipt. Apparently, the tracking information on my phone was not sufficient enough, right? So I go and get the receipt, print out the receipt like the lady tells me to do, bring that back, and you telling me, like, you're still giving me a hard time? Like, just take the freaking receipt, go find my freaking package. She's like, okay, what's your P.O. box number? And then there was a black lady that came behind, right? And she's asking the black lady, did you put the yellow slip in her mailbox? And the black lady's like, right? So I think the black lady, like, at first she was kind of nonchalant, like she didn't care, right? And then she saw that I was getting agitated. I'm just like, yo, I do not have the freaking yellow slip. I don't have the yellow slip. Like, what else do you want me to say? I have this here. And the black lady's like, yeah, I just put the yellow slip in her mailbox. What's her last name? I'm like, she was like, her last name Leach. Yo, I was at the point I hadn't lost like patience, yo. And when I get like really frustrated and anxious, yo, I start to like tear up, right? And so I'm just like, and I think she saw that, and she was like, "What's your last name? Leach? Is it Leach?" I didn't have any words. I just shook my head. I just like shook my head, and she was like, "Oh, I just put her yellow slip in there." I'm like, "Okay." So the lady, right, the clerk in front of me, she's like, "Oh, your yellow slip is in your box." Okay, but what does it have to do with what we're doing now? Like, you don't need the yellow slip to go retrieve the freaking package. All you need is a tracking number and proof of ID and my PO, my box number. I'm like, I can't believe this. I'm like, it wasn't in there when I just like, yo, I'm trying to explain to her, like, she's telling me, oh, that you need the yellow slip and that it's in your mailbox now. I'm like, so you expect me to go and get the yellow slip? I'm not doing all of that. I'm like, I just stood in this line for freaking 30 minutes. So she like asking me what is going on, and I'm trying to explain it to her, but she's cutting me off. And then like we're kind of going back and forth, and then I'm like, okay, you're asking me a question, but then when I give you an answer, you interrupt, you're cutting me off. So like, yo, they're not good at customer service, yo. And that's not all, but a lot of them are not good at customer service, yo. And neither are the people that work at DMV. I do have an appointment scheduled to go to DMV to transfer, to exchange my driver's license, yo, to New York. I'm just like, yo, I cannot, yo. If you listen to what I'm saying, then you'll hear, like, yo, I've been in line. You work here, you see all these people standing in line. Do you not know, like, we've been in line for like 30 freaking minutes. It's a 30-minute long line. So when I got here, the slip wasn't in my mailbox. It might be in there now, but I'm not going to get it. Just take but anyway. So I got my package. I did not have to go to my mailbox to get the yellow slip. And she's like, oh, well, when you get the yellow slip out your mail, I'm like, fuck that yellow slip, yo, at this point. I don't care about the yellow slip. She's like, just throw it away. Just rip it up. I'm like, no, duh. Come on now. I can't, yo. I cannot. And so then she has to tell me, like, when she hands me out, she's like, here's your package. Have a good day. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, yo? Ask for someone else, yo. I'm sitting up here trying to communicate. She was not listening to me. It's just going, like, over her head. You say it sounded like she probably was new? Yeah, probably was. So I'm opening this, you guys. Now, granted, this is my very first time seeing a printed copy. When I grabbed it, I'm like, whoa, this thing is kind of freaking light. I'm like, this is kind of light here, right? But I figure, okay, well, it's light maybe because the pages are very thin. Did I lose that battle? No, I didn't lose that battle. She wanted me to get a freaking yellow slip, and I'm like, I don't have a yellow slip. Just give me my freaking package, yo. Give me my shit. Alright, so I got my freaking dissertation. It's just like, I felt like the process of getting this dissertation in the mail was just like symbolic to what I went through to freaking do this dissertation, yo. But I have it. I'm like, okay. Wow, wowzers. I'm going to read a few, some excerpts from my dissertation. So, given that, now, with the dissertation, like, this research project was a journey. Long time coming, because the recruitment, I think, was the most difficult part. Now, the nature of my dissertation, obviously, is kind of touchy, right? Given that it's on Black identity and acculturation, race-related issues, implicit racial bias. You know, I'm an African American woman. My dissertation chair, she is white, right? So that in of itself kind of already communicates that, yo, this shit is challenging, right? It's challenging, but I like a challenge. And even beyond that, I would say the most challenging part of completing this dissertation was actually recruitment, which I talked about in my dissertation defense, and like the hurdles that I had to face. And it was so challenging, and just developing all of these like tactics on how to recruit. And I think honestly, and I'm going to write about this in my autobiography, right? Because I've said to you guys before, my experience in this program, training to become a clinical psychologist, it's been very challenging, and it's been political, right? Some things I really can't say, can't really talk about, right? But I'm definitely going to address in my book. So I will get there, right? But even like when it came to recruitment, I wouldn't say that recruitment was necessarily a challenge, right? Because you guys know that I own a nonprofit liberty organization. I think it was just having to finagle different things, right? And trying to maintain a sense of confidentiality, right? And how I move. So I'm excited. The acknowledgments of my dissertation. Hold on, let me be mindful of the time, you guys, because I do have a meeting. Hold on. Oh, okay, I'm good on time. I do have a meeting. I know that was a long intro of me ranting or whatever, but y'all, it's like I said, it's symbolic, right? Just what I had to go through just to get my hands on this, and all of this is just a printed version of my dissertation. It's a bound copy of it. But whoa, I'm looking at it, and you guys know, of course, I'm in the literary industry, so I'm just looking at like the quality of this first before I begin to read you guys. I see why some people chose not to order. This is in color though, by the way. But I see why some students chose not to order a copy, because it's just like, it's very basic. And I can find a better company that can print better quality. This is the company that is just printed through, is just where all dissertations are published. All PhD dissertations are published, or whatever, or doctoral dissertations are published. So, you know, they give you the option once you publish it through them to order a copy. And I'm like, why not order it? But my colleague, she's like, I ain't order my copy. Just go to Staples. Nah. I'm probably going to reprint it, though, through a different print company. Different type of paper. Because this paper, even the paper, is just regular paper. Printing paper. But yeah, so the acknowledgments, I kept it very simple. I know a lot of students, like, they give a shout out to their chair, to this person at the school, this person, that person. My acknowledgments does not have any names. I name no one. So my acknowledgement says, the universe, my ancestors, my mother and father, thank you. That's it. Table of contents, list of tables, list of figures, my intro. So, of course, like, one of the variables that I looked into, implicit racial bias, I ended up replicating a study that was pioneered by Dr. Kenneth B. Clark, or Kenneth and Mamie B. Clark, back in the 40s, 1940s, which I didn't even know they have a school here in New York named after him. Very prominent psychologist in Black American history. So my intro kind of talks about my motivation for this research, kind of what inspired it. In 1947, two psychologists, Kenneth and Mamie Clark, were interested in investigating the psychological impact of racial segregation in schools on younger children. So they developed a study called the Doll Test Study, designed to assess racial bias and attitudes in children of color who were attending segregated schools. I thought that was just so fascinating. Okay, at the end of the experiment, the researchers found that Black children attending both segregated schools in the South and integrated schools in the North had a tendency to choose the colored doll when asked which doll is the bad doll, and displayed a bias towards the white doll when asked which doll is the good doll. Alarmingly, contrary to popular belief, children attending segregated schools in the South were less likely to endorse a negative bias. So no matter if they were in the North or the South, North were integrated schools, in the South still were segregated, they overall displayed a negative bias towards their own Black African American race, right? But they saw that children attending schools and segregated schools in the South were less likely to endorse a negative bias towards the colored doll as compared to the Black children attending desegregated schools integrated in the North. So that's something I think like people kind of brush over. That's like a very like important fact from the research that they found, because they don't really emphasize that. People, they don't really like talk about that as much. I don't even think it's really mentioned. It's not really highlighted. Like, you have to read research with a fine-tooth comb to really hear like the truth, right? And that's what I did when I read the original document for this doll test study. So they want to emphasize, oh, Black children display a negative bias against themselves, right? But they don't talk about the differences between the North and the South. There were regional differences. They don't talk about that in terms of how Black children in integrated schools displayed a stronger negative bias against their own race. This study has been replicated numerous of times, which I think I talk about later on in my extended literature review. And this is near the, this is around the Jim Crow period. I was very emotionally attached to this, the nature of the research, shall I say. Looking at Black identity. It was really exciting to see like parents' reactions when I administer the measure that I use in this. You guys want to know what measures I use? I'll share with you guys how you can get a copy of my dissertation if you would like to. And you guys will see what measures that I'm not going to talk about the measures here. But when I was administering the implicit racial bias measure with the preschool children, just looking at the parents' reactions, they were in shock. They were like in disbelief. It's very telling, yo. And it kind of, I was with my first research participant out in Los Angeles. It kind of sent like shivers up my spine when I first did it, when I first administered the measure. a very wow experience. It's one thing to see it like on video, but it's another thing to actually do it, right? To experiment with it, to really get your hands on it. And I got a chance to do that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And parents, I mean, I can only imagine, having a child and you witnessing your child endorse negative biases, against their own race. Like, that is even more shocking. And it's disheartening. It's sad, So that's something that I also, those like grounds for discussion and talking with the parents and debriefing with the parents after I, administered the measures of the study. I was looking for where I cited. I know I cited how many times this study has been replicated, but it's been replicated numerous times. So that's all I'm going to share. But I do have to go. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Show pictures. There are pictures, because I definitely use pictures. One of the measures contains pictures. But that's all I want to share for now. I'll probably come back and say more. I mean, I think like this research, the nature of the research is very sensitive. I feel very passionate about it. And it is Marcus Garvey's birthday. So I'm repping Marcus Garvey, Pan-African. Pioneered the Pan-African movement and created the RBG flag. Red, black, and green. So there's a lot more to say, but like I said, I'm very strategic in my words and how I share what I share. So I will let you guys know how you can get a copy of my dissertation. Anyone who is familiar with research should know how to access dissertations. If you guys want to go and look and read the full dissertation, feel free. It's public, right? It's public information. On that note, I will catch you guys later. I have a lot to say about this research. But I'll end on that note. Catch you guys later. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bye-bye.